cloud is coming down. I feel like knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door. Knocking on heaven's door.
We come here today to celebrate Jason's life and his legacy. Celebrate seems like a strange word to use at a time such as this. But when you think of Jason and you think of the 44 years that he lived, and he lived life to the fullest, it was a life worthy of remembering and a life worthy of celebrating. Today, grief is standing at the door. And for some of us, our natural response is to turn the lights off and to hide in the darkness, pretending that grief isn't here, pretending that Jason isn't gone. And for some, you're hoping to wake up from this nightmare. It doesn't seem real yet. There's still this numbness that comes with a sudden loss, especially of someone so young. Death is always hard, but it's especially hard when someone so young and so strong is taken suddenly. And so I want us to take a moment at the beginning and to open the door and to let grief in. As a part of the healing process, today is one step in this journey that will be a long and painful one over in the coming weeks and months and years. You never get over losing someone you love, but you learn to live with the loss. And one of the ways we do that is by embracing the best parts of Jason, the best parts and the best memories that rise to the surface, and we grab them today as we open the door to grief, and we embrace grief as evidence of love. If you've ever loved someone, then grief is the other side of that. And so today, I invite you to step out of the shadows and to come out of hiding and to embrace Jason's life and his legacy. Jason's life was relatively short, but it was full. There's a quote by a guy, his name was Jim Elliot, and he died tragically at the age of 28. It was a sudden and tragic loss of someone who was young and strong and had a lot of potential for his future. After his death, they found his journal, and in it he wrote, not long before his death, he wrote this line: "I seek not a long life, but a full life." Jason made a lifetime of relationships in his 44 years. It is true that we remember how people made us feel more than what they said to us. We remember the emotional imprint more than the words, the verbal conversations we had. And Jason apparently had this ability to make people feel valued, to make people feel seen. And that's a part of his legacy. He crammed a lifetime worth of laughter in his 44, a lifetime worth of memories. Jason was a larger than life personality, and so he received a double portion of personality. The personality of 2 or 3 regular people was stuffed into the life of Jason. We're going to hear some eulogies today by some of those that knew him best. It's impossible to describe someone. It's impossible to describe 44 years just in a matter of minutes. Use words. The human vocabulary is woefully insufficient to communicate what you're feeling as a family. But they're going to try. And I hope that you feel the love of people that are gathered here because they love Jason, but also because they love you. And to be uplifted and supported and surrounded, not just today, but in the coming days, weeks, and months, to know that you're not alone as you walk this path of grief. The first one that we're going to hear from today is Shannon. Jason's sister. And so I now invite Shannon to come up and share.
Jason wasn't just my brother, he was my best friend. He's always supported me throughout the years. When things got hectic in my life, he was there to pick me up and have my back if needed. I remember countless times spilling my heart out to him about the life events that I was dealing with or things that were bothering me. He would sit there and just listen. He would always give the best advice or response. Over the past week, some of his closest friends have been sharing some of the memories they had with Jason. He truly was a great friend. He had the biggest heart. His daughter Haley meant the world to him. She was his top priority. Being a single dad to a little girl was a struggle at times, but I was always there to offer some advice. I remember all the times we took Haley and Karma to Tinkertown. We would stay for the full 6 hours and have more fun than they did. We were both like big kids. I will always cherish the memories I have with him. I never thought I would have to say goodbye so soon, big brother. I feel an emptiness, like I've lost a piece of myself. I love you and I miss you so much already. But I would like to share a note that Haley wrote for you. I miss you, Dad, every second of every day. But I know you're in a better place now and that you're with Grandma. I didn't think this day would come so quickly. You were my favorite person in the whole world, and I can't even explain how much you meant to me. Every day I would think about how lucky I am to have you as my dad. You were so special to me, and I know I didn't say it enough. I feel so lonely without you. I miss you so much, Dad, and I will every minute of my life.
Thank you, Shannon and Haley. It was very courageous to write those words to your dad. And I know he'd be incredibly proud. And I have this suspicion that you were his favorite person too. These moments that we share now don't feel like a gift, but that is what they are. Not long from now, we'll step back into our normal routines. You'll go back to work. You'll gladly embrace the distractions. But in these moments, we step out of our normal routines to remember, to grieve, to celebrate who Jason was and the legacy that he leaves behind, and to surround his family as best as we can with our love, and to surround Haley, Jason's daughter, so that she knows that she is loved and that she'll never be alone. We're going to hear a song now, and it's the most popular song played at moments like this for a reason. Music has a way of touching our hearts. Music has a way of sliding past our defenses And so in these moments, I hope that you'll embrace the emotions that rise to the surface. And the emotions are a part of healing. The grief, the anger, the confusion, all of it mixing together. And it forms this balm that can be a part of the healing. The song is Amazing Grace, and over the next 2 or 3 minutes, I want us to be fully present in these moments as a way of honoring Jason. I'd now like to invite Jason's aunt, Sherry, to share.
We all have our special memories of Jason. Bobby Bernice wanted to share a couple in particular. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here in person. She's recovering in the hospital right now. She remembers taking Jason to all the different playgrounds as a child. He was an active child. She was always afraid that he would fall and get hurt, but he never did. She always remembers him standing over her and watching the game of Mahjong with her friends. Jason had a very close relationship growing up with his Bobby Bernice and Zeta Dave. I also remember my sister Rhea brought Jason to me in Ontario when he was around 8 years old or so. And we went to Canada's Wonderland with his cousins Angela and Kimmy. We spent the whole day there and had really such a great time. Jason always kept in touch with his cousins over the years and always talked about how he wanted to bring his daughter Haley to Ontario so we could all relive the memory of Canada's Wonderland together once again. Jason always kept in contact with me also, either by phone or emails. And at the end of every conversation, he always ended them by saying, "I love you, Auntie." I'll really miss hearing that. He was a very proud father. He loved spending time with his daughter Haley, taking her to the library, skating, biking. Jason was also very talented musically. He would send me music videos he made, and I really enjoyed listening and watching them and bebopping. I have them all saved on my computer, and I'll cherish them forever. He was a very loving person and had a great deal to offer. He will be sadly missed by everyone that knew him and loved him. Rest in peace, Jason, and I love you.
Thank you, Sherry. And now, eulogy by Jason's brother, Tyrone.
It's a sad day today. It's also a time for us to remember my big brother, Jason. This is a small group here. I understand there's a much larger group watching live stream, or will be watching at a later date. We live in challenging times, and our government has placed restrictions on how many people can gather in gatherings like this one. There were a number of people that wanted to be here today in person because, of course, a screen is not the same as being here, but I suppose it's better than nothing at all. I'm pointing this out, all the disappointed people, because it says a lot about my brother. He was a popular guy. The room does not reflect that at all. Now, Facebook friends don't really count, but he had over 3,500. That gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. With any funeral that I've been to, I've learned a lot about the person and come to love them a little bit more before saying goodbye. And I think many watching and here will have that experience. Jason loved people. He was a people person. He was very sociable, very outgoing. He had many, many friends. And I'm not talking about the Facebook friends now. I'm talking real friends. We like Jason because he made us feel good. And he was very fun to be around. Most of all, Jason was genuine. He told it like it was, whether you liked it or not. And there are many Krawetz people in this room that are like that as well. Many people watch what they say nowadays. They're worried that they might offend somebody. Jason didn't care about any of that. Those that knew him well loved him for it. He was genuine, he was confident, and he was fearless. I wish I spent more time with him. I would see him several times a year, but only briefly. We never did any overnight camping trips or overnight fishing trips. We talked about it, but I was always working constantly and never found time. What a lot of people didn't know about Jason is that he read a lot, and after reading and digesting a book, he would donate it to the library rather than give it to me, so I'd have to go out and buy another copy. Though he would give me books for my birthday, so I guess I shouldn't complain. Jason wasn't materialistic. He had his house and the basics that he needed to live, but beyond that, he prioritized being a loving father and a good friend. You can't do it all in life. Jason understood that, and he picked his time carefully and spent it with friends and family over anything else. He never valued fancy things, fancy cars or expensive hobbies or exotic travel or anything like that. It was about being with people. His genuine personality and love of people made him really fun to be around. It's hard to explain, but those who knew him and spent time with him as a friend know exactly what I'm talking about. When we were together, we were always laughing. When we weren't laughing, we were talking about politics, which would lead to more laughing or shouting, depending on what we were talking about. He spent a lot of time in his garage in Portage in the back, always with several different projects on the go, doing things, building things, always busy with something. When I would go visit, very often people would stop by unannounced for some reason, looking for help with something, a second opinion, life advice, and Jason would help them. He was very generous that way, happiest when he was giving to others. With the many people in my brother's life, he, by necessity, needed to prioritize what and who came first. And as good of a friend as he was to many, family always came first. He told me that many times. His daughter Haley meant everything to him. She came second to no one. They were always doing things together, constantly. He was always teaching her something new, doing things, simple things. I wouldn't be surprised if she knew how to drive a car already. I watched Haley and Jason interact with each other over the years many times. He would dote on her. Jason was not shy about expressing his emotions to Haley. He had a rough exterior, but he wasn't that way with Haley at all. He was constantly telling her, reminding her how proud he was of her, how much he loved her. Constantly, daily, maybe not hourly, but pretty close, constantly. But that doesn't need to stop now. And I'm going to repeat it again for Jason. Haley, your dad loves you very much. He's very proud of you. He'll be watching you grow up, and he'll be proud of who you'll become. Jason is not gone. A piece of him is right here in our heart. We love you, Haley. We will look after you. We will teach you right from wrong. And we too are proud of you. I was going through some music that might better communicate what I'm trying to express. I found a short song that I'll play to conclude my remarks. I don't know if Jason was aware of this song. It didn't necessarily reflect his taste in music either, so I'm sorry to play it at your funeral, Jason. But it does express what I think he felt for his daughter, and I wanted to share it with you and for the people watching, because I believe it succinctly captures what was most important to him. I love you, brother. I miss you. We're going to take care of your little girl. Give Mom a kiss for me, and I'll see you soon. Not soon, but someday.
Thank you, Tyrone. That was an incredible tribute to your big brother. It was very well done. And Haley, I hope that you really heard what your uncle said on behalf of your dad. So many people struggle their entire lives trying to find something that you have already received, the love of a father. To hear our dad say, I'm proud of you. So many adults strive so hard in life, even if they don't know it, to try to make their dad proud. To hear our Father say, you are enough. To hear our Father say, I love you. And Haley, you have heard that. And so many people never get to experience the gift of a father's love and a father's affirmation. And I hope you lock that away in your heart and never forget it. We're now going to do a video tribute, and a picture is worth 1,000 words. And again, it's the vehicle of music that drives these images beyond our minds into our emotions. And this is towards the end of the service, so we really only have a few minutes left here before we step back into the whirlwind, before we step back into the routines. A few precious moments left to gather around Jason and to remember him and to celebrate him together. I'll close our service with a benediction. But before I offer that blessing for the family, I'd like to offer a few instructions. Everyone is invited. On behalf of the family, I'd like to invite you to the graveside. The funeral staff will give instructions shortly how to proceed out. And then after the graveside service, you're invited to a reception at the family farm. This is an ancient blessing, an ancient benediction. It's thousands of years old. And I'd like to pray it over the family. The Lord bless you, and the Lord keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. Amen.
Thank you, John. And as John had mentioned, you were all invited to accompany us to the graveside, which is at the Birch River Cemetery. Am I getting that correct? We are going to process on Highway number 1 and arrive for the interment. At this time, though, if you would like to rise and follow Jason out to the coach and follow him behind the family, that would be welcome as well. Leave stuff here, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah, it was here.
Oh, yeah.
Where they